Good afternoon, Belize. It's midday and you're tuned into the news at noon, where we bring you the latest updates from around the country. I'm Isana Cayetano, and here's what's making headlines today. New video raises tough questions after deadly key-cocker brawl. Is unity still possible in the UDP? E-ride buses hit the brakes, now what? And saving the sea, one project at a time. These stories are coming up in just 1 minute.
In the face of tragedy, you depend on accurate and timely information. In times of triumph, you seek to be inspired. You demand transparency and accountability. Your desire is to know and to understand, to be heard and seen. I take pride in telling stories that safeguard communities. Your dedication and success live on through these reports. Getting to the truth is my duty. My unwavering commitment is to tell the stories that matter the most to you. I am News 5.
Welcome back. We're learning more today about the violent weekend brawl in Key-Cocker that left 19-year-old Kevin DePaz dead and the community demanding answers. Newly released surveillance footage shows the moments leading up to the chaos, where an unconscious man lies on the ground surrounded by a group of men. Then, out of nowhere, a punch is thrown and things spiral fast. Police say 2 off-duty officers stepped in after the man was knocked out, but what was meant to be an intervention turned into a deadly confrontation. 5 people were stabbed, including DePaz, who didn't survive. Now, residents are asking, did the officers help calm the situation or make it worse? That question is at the heart of a growing call for accountability. On Monday night, the island came together for a candlelight vigil in Kevin's memory as police continued their investigation. The Commissioner of Police and the Chair of Key-Cocker both offered condolences, but for many, that's not enough.
Commissioner Rosado has indicated and has instructed that a very thorough investigation be conducted. He is physically going to Key-Cocker to meet with the residents and to give them that assurance that it is an incident that the department wishes to investigate fully, and certainly it is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution that will conclusively say what charges are to be levied under the circumstances. As I stated, it's an investigation that the police is interested in thoroughly investigating. Certainly when it is incidents that involve police officers, there's a higher level of scrutiny, and there's certainly an onus on the department to ensure that a thorough investigation is conducted to dispel any suggestions of cover-up or anything in that nature.
The United Democratic Party is once again in the spotlight, but not for the reasons it might hope. Despite the much-anticipated return of Chairman Mike Perfeet, the party remains deeply divided. A recent High Court ruling on the controversial expulsion of opposition leader Tracy Panton has only added fuel to the fire. Now, both sides, Panton's camp and that of party leader Shine Barrow, are trading sharp words in public. But amid the political noise, one question stands out. What does Tracy Panton really think about Perfeet's comeback? And can he truly bring the UDP back together?
I support a genuine attempt to bring all relevant parties to the table so we can discuss and come up with a consensus position on a way forward for the United Democratic Party. We are not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for the democracy of this country, and we are fighting with those people who continue to support us even in the worst of times, because they look to us as a voice of hope, a voice of reason, a voice for the voiceless. And so whatever that configuration is to help us to move past the impasse, I support.
So you take no issue with his return?
Personally, no, I don't.
If your morning commute felt a little longer today, you're not alone. Belize City's E-Ride bus service came to a sudden stop this morning as City Hall announced a temporary suspension to carry out safety checks on the fleet. These electric buses, launched just a year ago as part of a UNDP pilot project, which have completely become popular and competitive as an option for city commuters. But with these buses off the road, the big question now is who's picking up the slack along those busy routes? When it comes to protecting Belize's marine treasures, it truly takes a village, or in this case, a whole country. Since 2022, the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future has been quietly pouring the work behind the scenes, helping local organizations to protect our oceans. From coral reefs to coastal communities, this private conservation trust is making sure the people doing the work have the funding they need to get it done. So, what does that look like on the ground? We headed south to find out how this fund is helping turn big conservation goals into real, lasting impact.
Laughing Bird Key was one of the best sites ever when I started to work because it had been hit tremendously by a storm and we had lost about 90-something% of coral coverage around here. And that at that point when I started, the coverage was building up back, meaning we were out doing a lot of work here, a lot of outplanting. Everything was thriving and looking great. Once again, the climate change and everything has been changing. We have had devastating loss. Especially last year, we have lost tremendous amount of corals around Laughing Bird Key.
For the most part, we do have compliance from local fishers, but there is always a challenge of conflicts between what the tour guides see versus what the fishers, because they're using the same space but for different reasons. And in some spaces they may say, it's the changes they see are a result of the fishers, and the fishers may say that it is as a result of the tour guides. So education and outreach is very important, and it still always ties back to enforcement. But we, as an organization, we always tie our education along with enforcement. So actually on Monday we have what we call boat to boat that's going to go out for 3 days, and their purpose is to meet with fishers, to share about the regulations, because we're about to open the lobster season. Right. So it's very important for us to be a part of that process. So I would say those are one of the most significant challenges, and of course the cost that goes along with enforcement, because as you all know, fuel is very, very expensive. So again, technology does help us to alleviate that a lot, quite a bit.
That's a wrap for the news at noon. But don't worry, there's plenty more coming your way at 6 p.m. We'll dive deeper into these stories and more. In the meantime, visit greaterbelize.com and follow us on Facebook for real-time updates. And don't miss Open Your Eyes tomorrow morning for fresh takes on today's headlines. Thanks for tuning in, Belize. Stay informed, stay inspired, and have a fantastic afternoon.